Make my mouth.
I know.
And my mouth is watering. I laugh when that happens because I feel like you guys can like see me like foaming at the mouth. Woo!
Yeah.
And I am crazed over it.
Just a little,
yeah.
Little.
And I have now drank the Kool-Aid.
Beer appropriate, right?
And we definitely have had our share of these at breakfast time.
Quite a few,
for
yeah.
Sure. It's not a start.
Right.
A start.
A start. Yeah.
It's almost like not a beer. You know what I mean?
This is the perfect beer.
It is the perfect beer.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Janet.
I'm Jason.
We're
Gumbo Mud. We're here.
For dark beer.
And we've taken a lot of time off, haven't we?
We have been on a vacay.
Little break.
Little break.
Yeah, and plus I got sick, so I didn't want my taste buds to affect any of the beer tasting, so.
But you're back?
Back. Everything's back. We're all good to go, and we have a special one for our 100th.
Woo!
Our 100th review. We have a special one here.
Yes.
Yes.
This is bacon and eggs from our friends at Port Brewing Company out of Solana Beach. Is the OG location.
Yes, exactly. And disclaimer, this is my favorite beer in the world, so.
And I have now drank the Kool-Aid, as they say, and I am crazed over it.
I've influenced you a little? Just a little.
Yeah.
Little.
Like, I have to have it in my fridge at all times, and it's seasonal.
That's the problem.
It is, we go on mad beer hunts and buy with both hands when we can find it. So
yeah, so hopefully you guys can help us get this beer year round. Port has quite a few, I think 5 beers that they can year round, but they don't have a dark. And this is the dark that we want can year round. And I've talked to other people and they want it too. So Port, come on, please can this beer year round.
yes.
So
I think we need, what are those things people sign? A petition.
Petition, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we need a petition.
We need a petition.
Yeah.
All right, so like I said, Bacon and Eggs is the name of the beer. It's an 8% Imperial Coffee Porter.
Remember the first time I told you I was going to give you bacon and eggs? You thought it was going to taste like bacon and eggs?
Well, right, because most of the names point towards the flavor you're going to get, right? Like, I can't think of something like a marshmallow surprise. You would expect a marshmallow beer.
Yeah. So
I was horrified thinking that I was going to have a beer that tastes as much as I like bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was
beer appropriate, right?
I didn't think it was a beer in the making.
Yeah, this is classified as a breakfast stout. So if you obviously follow our channel or drink a lot of darks, there's a category for breakfast stouts, pastry stouts, barrel aged, things like that. But this is a breakfast stout, hence the name bacon and eggs you have for breakfast. So that's all.
And we definitely have had our share of these at breakfast time.
Quite a few,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as you were saying, it's seasonal.
Seasonal.
Yeah.
On their website, they specify November and December.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's always the case.
No, one year it came out in January, I think, or February.
February,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I think it was 2 years ago we had it in February at the Ocean Beach location.
Yes.
So I don't know if just this most recent year they were shooting for November and December.
Right.
I think.
I don't know. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? A pandemic year. I don't know what happened. So, yeah.
They are an award-winning brewery.
Yeah, of course.
You've probably heard the name. You've seen the beers in the liquor store. They're super well known. They partnered with Bird Rock Roasters on this one, which is a staple here in San Diego.
Yes, and it's interesting that they have a particular blend of coffee just for this beer, and when they release it, most of the time they have it where you can buy the coffee with it too, so you can actually have the blend of coffee, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got this. We have the mug, and we had the
actual coffee,
the package of the coffee.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and 8%, which is one of those. Another reason why we love it. It's a daily one. You can drink at 8%. Have a couple of them daily, and they're not as big as like a 12% or something like that, where you just want a little bit. So, yeah, and obviously Bird Rock Roasters is award-winning coffee roaster here out of La Jolla, and so they've collaborated with them on this special blend of coffee just for bacon and eggs. So they started in '87, Pizza Port and Solana Beach, and then in '92 is when they started brewing beer. So way back then, they're one of the 1, 2, 3, Carl Strauss, L. Smith, a lot of these original breweries here in San Diego. So they've been around for a long time, and now they have 5 locations: Bressy Ranch, Ocean Beach, San Clemente, and then downtown Carlsbad.
Right.
So,
and a bottle shop at the Carlsbad location. What I didn't realize that they were strictly pizza first.
Yes.
And did that for quite a few years, and then converted to the brew pub.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they really like pizza and beer. I mean, come on, right?
Vince was a home brewer, and then they just decided to bring it on.
Exactly.
And they're literally one of my favorite breweries, if not my favorite brewery here in San Diego.
And we do love their pizza too.
Yes.
Like it's
exactly. Yeah.
It's lights out.
Love their pizza. So yeah, they've won over 91 medals and awards just from the Great American Beer Festival, which is.
And that's for all their locations, 91 collectively.
Yes, all kind of beers, everything. And that's just at the Great American Beer Festival, not counting the San Diego or LA or all the other beer festivals. So they're just a great brewery. I mean, they know how to brew beer. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And so the description of this beer is a rich coffee aroma, and it obviously has a lot of coffee and roasted malts in it. So and the ABV is pretty much hidden. Like we've had some 8%ers before that are pretty strong, and this one it's right there. You really don't even feel like it's you don't feel an 8%. It does have the body of an 8%, which we'll get to. But yeah, it's great beer, and here we go.
All right,
you ready?
Without further ado,
we're ready to start drinking it.
Oh yeah.
Here, I'll let you pour it.
This beer, I mean, honestly, it just makes me excited. It really does.
Yeah, it's one of those that I used to get at Bressy Ranch all the time, and then they finally started canning it, which I couldn't believe, and now it sells out all the time. So we're hoping they could make it year-round, since there's so many people that love this beer, and Pizza Port does not have a dark beer that they release year-round.
Right.
So we're petitioning to get them to petitioning them to get this. So let's get right to it. So as far as appearance, what do you think?
Super dark, considering it is a porter. It's not a start.
Right.
A start.
An Imperial Porter.
Right. So porters, in my experience, are usually a little bit lighter in color. This one is not. It is super, super dark. You can see the carbonation. It's not heavily carbonated, but it's present. And
nice mocha head.
Yeah, not too much of a head. Yeah, it's a light head, which dissipates pretty quickly.
Yeah, depending on how you pour it, but all different size bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I poured yours first with a little more.
And like you said, it doesn't look too carbonated, so yeah. So what do you give appearance?
I think it looks great. I think it looks darker like a stout than a porter.
Right.
So I'm going to start with a 5 in appearance.
Yeah, I actually am too, because of that reason. Like you just said, it looks like a stout.
It does,
and it's a porter. So for it to look like a stout, I would give that a 5 for a porter, even though we know porters are going to be lighter. I just like a darker beer. So
yeah, if somebody poured this and was like, do you think it's a stout or a porter?
Yeah,
I would put all my chips on a stout. Like it's that dark and rich looking.
Yeah, and at 8%, it's right there on the cusp of a stout. So okay, so what about aroma?
Okay, here we go. It's pretty much just straight coffee. You do get some of the roastiness and the maltiness, but besides that, it's straight coffee. You don't get any boozy aroma. So that's pretty well masked. But
I get a light coffee, and I don't really get that much roasted malt.
You don't?
Not for me. But I do get the light coffee that it's like a sweet coffee almost. It's not real sweet, just a touch sweet. It doesn't smell bitter at all. It just smells like a nice little lightly sweetened coffee, just barely. But yeah, it smells really good. So.
It makes my mouth.
I know.
And my mouth is watering. I laugh when that happens because I feel like you guys can see me like foaming at the mouth.
When the coffee beers smell like this, you can't help it. That's our favorite beers, have this light coffee aroma and flavor. So
yes.
Yeah. So what do you give? What do you give aroma?
I love the aroma. I could smell it when I crack the can.
Yeah.
And I'm giving it a 5. I will say the coffee aspect in this year's batch does not seem to be as prominent as in previous years.
I agree.
But I actually kind of like that. In previous years, it was almost a little too much for me, and
it was
almost
strong.
Almost got a little too acidic for me. So I appreciate the whatever the recipe was this year.
Yeah, and I also noticed this year, because they brew this at Bressie Ranch there in Carlsbad, and they have a different brewer now. So, and maybe his take on the recipe. But yeah, the coffee's not as strong, because the coffee used to be a lot stronger.
Yeah.
But I have to give it a 5 too, because I just like that kind of sweet coffee flavor, and it's not overwhelming, and I'm not getting anything else. And it's an Imperial Coffee Porter, and that's exactly what you get. It's a thicker porter, and you get the coffee, but it's not like a bitter coffee, it's a sweet coffee. So yeah, it smells really good. So I gave it a 5 too. So all right, go ahead and taste.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, obviously one of my favorite beers ever that I've ever had anywhere in my whole life. So I just love this beer, and it's it's interesting each year how you get a different batch.
It is.
And the taste you get.
This is actually this is my favorite year of
Is it?
But like I said before, it was a little too acidic.
So it had a little more coffee in it.
I think so.
Yeah.
But it is it's a home run. It's so smooth. It's so creamy, which again, you don't usually get in porters, even though it's Imperial Porter. It's just like, it's just like a cold coffee drink with booze. Like, so smooth. So just like the right touch of sweetness too.
Right.
You know? Like,
yeah, there's no bitterness to it all.
None.
And a lot of coffee drinks we get, a lot of coffee beers, they're not sweet at all. There's that bitter espresso or just a bitter coffee with no sweet. But this, yeah. What do you give taste?
It's a 5 for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what the IBUs are. It would be I would be curious to know and to share that with you guys. But it tastes.
I'd have to be in the 20s, I would think. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's no bitterness at all.
There's none. I mean, it is just. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's money.
Yeah, obviously gave it a 5 too. The carbonation. This beer, I think, is one of the few that just gets the carbonation spot on. I don't know what they're doing there at Pizza Port, but the carbonation is perfect. It's carbonated. You like yours a little more carbonated.
I do.
I like mine a little less. It is carbonated, but man, it seems to be perfect and dissipates really nicely. So it's not a lot of fizzing in your mouth, which I like. And then obviously, it's an Imperial Porter. It's almost like a light stout. It's just so good, and then the coffee's perfect. So and that little touch of sweet coffee. So yeah, I give it a 5 too. Obviously, I know.
This beer is so good.
So good.
Good Lord.
So what do you think about the texture and 8%?
The texture is, it's definitely, this is where you can tell it's a porter. It's light. It's not like thick or syrupy. It doesn't like really coat your mouth with the mouthfeel you get from stouts.
The stickiness and all that kind of stuff, right?
So this is where it's like telltale signs of a porter.
Yes. And an everyday beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A great everyday beer because it is light and refreshing, but it's still full of flavor. It's not like diluted in other areas. So. And
you really don't get bloated from it. Having 1, 2, or 3.
No.
Like it's 8%, but it doesn't seem, like I said, they hide the ABVs really well because it doesn't seem like an 8%.
It doesn't.
But it tastes like an 8%, like you said, a lighter 8% though. Yeah.
The texture is really impressive.
Yes. So what do you give it?
It would be a 5 for sure, but it's really, to me, it's really truly impressive to be this dialed in with a porter and to achieve this texture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I give it a 5. Like this is, when I can get it, this is an everyday beer for me because of that. It's an 8%. It tastes like an 8%. The texture is like a lighter 8%. I wouldn't even say it was a 7. It's like, no, it's heavier than a 7, but it's not quite a 9. Like it's almost spot on.
It is.
Somewhere in the 8s. And then you don't get bloated from it. Maybe that's because they nail the carbonation in it, but the texture, you just feel like you're drinking such a good beer. It's not light, it's not too heavy, it's like perfect. And then the carbonation's good where you can have 2 or 3 of them and you don't get bloated like a heavier beer. So yeah,
it's almost like not a beer. You know what I mean? Like,
this is the perfect beer.
it is the perfect beer. I agree, but it's almost so perfect. It's like not a beer. You're right. You don't experience any of that fullness or bloat.
God, so good.
It's 8% ABV, but the most I've had in not in one sitting. It's not like I'm slamming them, but I have had 3 in a day. Yeah. And like, I'm not...
Yeah, you're kind of sipping it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's spread out, but like even the alcohol, 8% is a fair amount, and it just doesn't hit you.
You don't taste any alcohol.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really feel it either. No. You know what I mean? Like it's
No, you don't get like a heavy buzz from it at all. No. At all.
Everything about it is just smooth.
It's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kind of like... just sneaks up on you.
Yeah, so we both gave it 5s on texture. So what do you think about the finish?
The finish is another beautiful thing. You definitely have that like wonderful coffee taste in your mouth. It's dry, no bitterness, a little bit of sweetness. It honestly just makes you want to have another sip or another beer. Like, yeah. The finish is another thing I just really appreciate. Like,
especially for coffee beer, because so many of our coffee beers we get, they have a bitter finish.
They do.
And this has not only no bitterness, it has just that little touch of sweetness, like you said. And it's like, it's perfect.
I have a tendency to lean towards, I like flavored beers, whether it's vanilla, maple, whatever. This one is it's truly just a coffee beer. With just a tad bit of sweetness, and I'm surprised that I'm drawn to it as much as I am. Yeah. But it's all of the categories, like all meshed into one, and then you have this amazing finish that you just keep going. You just keep going. So it's a 5.
5 for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, once again, a 5 for me too. It's so funny, this is my favorite beer, and I wasn't sure if I would even give it all 5s as we broke everything down, because we find out a lot of our beers we'll like, and then you start breaking it down, and there's certain aspects that overtake other aspects.
Definitely.
So I wasn't sure actually how this one was gonna stack up, and it's literally my favorite beer. That's why we waited to do it for our 100th episode. But yeah, I give it a 5 too. Like, everything about this beer is a 5 for me, and especially we like even the heavier beers, we like lighter beers, but this is like for an everyday beer. It's like the most perfect beer, and that's why it's my favorite beer. So
that's great that you said that. I never, like, we've been drinking this for several years. It's both tops our favorite list. I never thought about it as I'm drinking it. I'm never like breaking it down into categories like we just did. So that's a really great point. But since we did break it down, it just again shows, why
it's our favorite.
Why it's our favorite, and definitely why it's, award winning and as amazing as it is.
So for our 100th anniversary, Janet, what do you give for your total on bacon and eggs Imperial Porter?
Hands down, it's 5s across the board for me. My total is a 5 out of 5. It's just one of those beers that it gives me butterflies in my stomach. Like, I hear the name, I see it on Instagram. When I know it's approaching that time of year, when it's released, I go into a frenzy, This year I almost set up a game plan of, what stores I'm going to hit first to, go buy it. And I now have a sweet beer fridge that I can stock up. So my regular fridge, has some room. But we just stocked up big time. So now the beer fridge and the regular fridge is loaded with bacon and eggs. So just a home run of a beer. I hope you guys don't tinker with the recipe much, because it's pretty perfect as is. And I just love it. I look forward to it every year, and I would love to see this in the mix year round.
Year round. Year round. Petition. We want this beer year round. Pizza Port needs a dark beer year round.
Definitely.
And this is it.
This is it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I gave it all 5s. I give it a 5. My favorite beer I've ever had. So, and I've been trying a lot of beers, and there's still not one that's knocked it off yet. So, my favorite beer all time, and I just wish Pizza Port would have it available year round. We need more dark beers year round. You know, there's so many of us dark beer drinkers that we can't get a lot of these beers year round. And if you drink IPAs or all these other beers, they can them year round. But for us, we can't get it. So help us get Pizza Port to brew this beer year round, and you guys go out and find it and get it and let us know what you think about it. So yeah, we both give it 5. So Bacon and Eggs Imperial Coffee Porter. All 5s, one of the few beers that we give all 5s.
Would it not be a beautiful thing? Like pretty much every place you go and you see Pizza Port, right?
Yes.
In the refrigerated case.
Yes.
Like, would it not be an amazing thing to see this everywhere?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, we need it.
Definitely.
Yeah, we need it. So yeah, we should start a petition.
I'm gonna do it.
So anyway, thank you guys for watching our 100th episode. And thank you for watching all the episodes and sticking with us, and your comments and everything about our channel. And we love you guys, and we're going to keep bringing you more dark beer.
Yes, and I want to say thank you also. It has been so fun. We never thought that the channel would grow as quickly as it has. We're on Instagram also. It's growing, and we're having so much fun meeting so many new friends and companies, and
yeah,
it's just been such a blast. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And we look forward to 100 more with you. So
exactly. So
our Instagram is Gumbo Mud, MUDD, and we put out a few posts a week. We do giveaways. All sorts of fun stuff. So we hope you'll find us there.
Yes, and click the like and share button and share it with everyone so we can get this beer year round.
Yes.
And click the subscribe button so you can get alerts every time we release a new review on dark beer. So thank you guys again. Our 100th episode, can you believe?
Yes.
It's been a lot. Yeah, a lot of beers, and we can't wait to do 100 more. So.
And thank you for being, like, you're awesome. Like, there's nobody I would rather, you know, be on this beer journey with. Like, he is the editing king, he's the photography king, like, he does it all. So
well, we make a good team. I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else either.
Thanks.
So, so thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next review.
Cheers.
Okay,
to
bye.
100 more.